Welcome back to the channel. Today we will be talking about CompTIA's Pentest Plus certification, what it is, what it's not, and how it can advance your career, so stick around.
FJSEC, lifting cybersecurity.
So Pentest Plus. CompTIA's Pentest Plus, as they say right here, is for cybersecurity professionals tasked with penetration testing and security consulting. Alright, so while there are no prerequisites for the certification, CompTIA recommends at least 3 to 4 years in the cybersecurity industry before trying to obtain it. And they also intend for it to be a follow-on to Security Plus or Network Plus. Now I completely skipped both of these and obtained CAS Plus, now Security X, before even going for my Pentest Plus. I had no experience in pen testing when I obtained the certification. I just had some time messing around on Kali, and I was about halfway through my cybersecurity degree. And despite the name, it's not exactly what I would think of when it comes to a penetration test certification. So let's talk about what it is. We're going to be focusing on the 002 version of the test, as it is the one that I took. 003 is out, but 002 is still the one to take. So this exam costs just over $400, exactly 404. It is 85 questions long and just under 3 hours. You have 165 minutes exactly to complete the exam. That gives you just under 2 minutes per question if you take the allotted time per question. And let's take a look at the exam description. So right here, it states the CompTIA Pentest Plus will certify that the successful candidate has the knowledge and skills required to plan and scope a penetration testing engagement, including vulnerability scanning, understand legal and compliance requirements, analyze results, and produce a written report with remediation techniques. Now, the certification focuses on documentation and legality and understanding what different types of attacks there are, such as buffer overflows, denial of service, and you need to have a basic understanding of Linux, the ability to read at least basic bash scripts, understand basic nmap skills, but that is what they really are. They are basic skills. The technical skills needed to pass this exam can be learned fairly quickly. A penetration testing course such as TCM Security's Practical Ethical Hacking course or Hack the Box Penetration Testing Path will have you more prepared and more than you need to be for the performance-based questions or PBQs. The documentation is what you really need to focus on if you have completed a penetration testing course path like that. The documentation is what you really want to know more about. I only remember having a few PBQs, and some of the questions had things such as nmap scans, except they were multiple choice. So you start out of the gate with a 25% chance that you're going to be correct. But if you understand the flags and the syntax, they're pretty easy to pick out. You also need to know basic tools and what they do, such as Metasploit and Shodan, and understanding the documentation, once again, such as your scope of work, your roles of engagement, communication plans. Very, very important for this certification. So I wanted to give a few pointers about taking this exam. So one is, do not get hung up on questions you don't know. You can go back. If you run into a question and you're not sure or know that it's going to take you extra time, flag it and come back to that question at the end. Also, don't second guess yourself. If you put in the time and you studied and you know the material, then generally the first answer that you want to go with your gut. Don't select the answer and then come back later and be like, oh, well, that might not be right. I'm going to switch it, because most of the time you were correct originally. So make sure that you think about both of those things while you're taking this exam. Now, where can the certification get you in your career? This can help you get positions such as penetration tester, security analyst, incident responder, and more. According to softskill.com, as of January this year, 2025, the average pay of someone who held Pentest Plus was $110,000. Now, understand that this is average across all levels of experience, so you have to take that into account when determining the monetary value of your worth to an organization. Now, I did just jump on Indeed and just pulled up 2 positions to look at that are asking for Pentest Plus. So first we have our incident handler of cybersecurity, and this one is offering between 66 and 106 depending on levels of experience. And you see over here that it is asking for Pentest Plus. The other side of this, though, is they do want experience. So 2 years minimum bachelor's, 0 with a master's, or 6 years with no degree. And then we also have a cyber system security engineer, also asking for Pentest Plus between $87,000 and almost $100,000. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea of what you could be looking at. If you are just starting out in cybersecurity, I would not expect to go over, 80,000 ish, depending on, of course, your experience. If you have the skills, then absolutely. Otherwise, if this is like the only certification that you're holding on to and you don't have any experience in the field, just make sure that you really look at what your market worth is. I know that's kind of hard to take in sometimes, but you have to realize that these organizations, especially when they're bringing someone in for cybersecurity, they're also taking a risk because they expect you to have all this knowledge and know what you're doing in order to either protect the organization or exploit another organization if you are in the pen testing field. Here we have CompTIA's IT certification roadmap. We will be looking at the cybersecurity path because that's the one where Pentest Plus lies. They say it is an advanced level certification, and then the next one up is Security X, formerly known as CAS Plus. I personally think that this is more of an industry beginner to intermediate certification, but that's just my personal opinion, and we're about to talk a little bit why I feel like that. So how does it compare to other penetration testing certifications such as TCM Security's Practical Network Penetration Tester, PNPT, or Hack the Box's Certified Penetration Testing Specialist, CPTS? I will preface this with the fact that I do not hold either of these other 2 certifications, but I also know that I don't currently possess the skills to pass them. I'm actually going after my PJPT currently, TCM's Practical Junior Penetration Tester, but that's neither here nor there. Pentest Plus is much more well known than the other 3, and where I think it lacks as a certification is the practicality. You can't just get the certification and walk into a job based solely on the knowledge to pass the certification. The PJPT, PNPT, and CPTS all require you to actually conduct information gathering, scanning and enumeration, vulnerability scanning, and exploitation, whereas Pentest Plus does not. The other 3 also require you to write a full report. They are full-on pen test. On LinkedIn, I see all the time where people pass the practical, exploit the domain controller, grab all the flags, and get failed on the pen test report, which really shows that these other organizations have a standard that they are going to hold everyone to. Pentest Plus will likely get you looked at more by recruiters, but those of us who know more about these certifications will respect the practical ones more. Well, that's about it for this one. Let me know what you think. If you agree, disagree, whichever, we can talk about it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you want more videos on certifications, let me know. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on HepjaSec.